My name is Howard Rosenman, and I'm a movie producer. I've made over 43 movies, among them Call Me By Your Name last year, which won 204 awards, I might add, and Father of the Bride, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Family Man, Common Thread, Celluloid Closet, blah, 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 blah. Marianne is not telling people not to take their medications. In fact, Marianne is telling people to take their medications. I've seen her. All these boys were all infected with the HIV virus. They didn't even know it. And the deaths at that time were very quick and very brutal. And all these boys were frightened to death. And there must have been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of boys. And I went there and was listening to this charismatic woman who I knew talked our language. And she had been in the same places that we were in the 70s. So she was like one of us. She was a girl that was on the dance floor with the tambourines on her hips, dancing, singing. And she happened to be a Jewish girl from Houston and came from a kind of religious Jewish family that was very grounded and very progressive. I gravitated towards her because she was so gorgeous and so empathetic and so brilliant, I must say, and articulate. And then what happened is Marianne asked me, she had a thing called the Center for Living, which was treating these boys, rolfing, grief therapy, a lot of them had lost their partners, massage, Louise Hay, preparing them for death in a sense. And she was so beautiful to these boys. I watched Marianne take care of these boys. I watched Marianne hold these boys. I watched Marianne cleaning up their diapers. I watched Marianne hold these boys, comfort these boys at a time when everybody was trying to stay away from anybody that had HIV because everybody was scared, they didn't know where it came from. And Marianne rose to the occasion. Marianne went right in there. She was fearless. She didn't listen to anybody. She went ahead to take care of these boys because Marianne was coming from a place of empathy and caring. She was so caring. I mean, the image that I have of Marianne, I hate to say this, I'll sound like an idiot, but like the Pietà, she was holding these boys, you know, the way the Virgin Mary held her son. And I found that so inspiring. We hear a lot of stuff about Marianne. I mean, look at her character. Look at what she's done. Look at her caring. She comes from a really good family. I've been to the synagogue where Marianne's parents and Marianne grew up. Okay, they're a very solid folk. They're progressive, they're interesting. If people would only listen to what she has to say instead of ascribing these false rumors, you know. I mean, Marianne now has a red target on her back, and I warned her because that happens with everybody. You know, people can't stand it when people become famous. And Marianne has become famous because she's preaching the gospel of caring. That's all she is. And just listen to what she has to say. I don't agree with her on everything she says, but I listen to it, and she's brilliant. And she's advocating a great way of being. And then Marianne knew that I knew a lot of wealthy gay boys, gay men, and she asked me to help raise money for the Center for Living. And so I said to Marianne, you know, Hollywood's not going to buy this hairy-fairy stuff, this rolfing stuff, this Louise Hay stuff. They're just not, okay? I went to New York, and I went to a club, and I saw a charity box that said, God's Love We Deliver. And on it said Dr. Ganja Stone, founder. And I made a movie called Resurrection, which is about a female Christ figure, about a healer in 1979. So everybody in the spiritual world knew a lot about me. And so when I called her up cold, she knew who I was. She said, come down and see my operation. So I went down to Varick Street, and I saw God's Love We Deliver. They were making food, meals for HIV and AIDS patients and delivering them. So I came back to LA, and I said to Marianne, is there a Meals on Wheels for HIV and AIDS patients? We did some checking, and we found out that there wasn't. Marianne came up with the name Project Angel Food, and then there were 7 or 8 of us that started Project Angel Food. And it was very hard in those days to raise money. Marianne herself would have hay rides and sock hops, and we would raise $40 or $50 a night, you know, to take care of these kids who had to eat and couldn't get out of their houses. Marianne herself did this. And then what happened is we decided to throw an art auction within 2 months, and Michael Childers, who was the partner of John Schlesinger, got all his friends from the art world to donate art. And we had this art auction, and one night we raised $1.2 million. And then Elizabeth Taylor, Barry Diller, and David Geffen all came up with a lot of money to help us. And so we were on our way. And 2 weeks ago on Friday, we served our 12 millionth meal. And that's Marianne Williamson's legacy, okay? So she was there before anybody was there. She doesn't talk about it much. She's very humble about that kind of thing.